Alright, for this demonstration I'm going to show you how to accurately draw an image using a grid. As you can see here, I already have a 1 inch by 1 inch grid on both my drawing paper and the printout in which I'm using. And you saw how to do that accurately with a previous demonstration. This time I'm going to show you different techniques on how to draw the image accurately with the help of this grid. So I already have the bow and arrow started right here, and I'm going to draw her face. And the first technique I want to go over is simply using fractions in relationship to your 1 inch by 1 inch grid. So if I was going to start with her face, and maybe I'll start right by the eye here, I need to take a look at this eye, or the side of the face, and see where it intersects this square, in between this mark and this mark. This is about halfway right here, this is about a quarter, so really it's kind of in between a quarter and a half of the way throughout that square. I wouldn't get too much more detail than using quarters of an inch, but if you can kind of relate it to a quarter, halfway, or 3/4 to see where it falls in that area, you'll be pretty successful. So this eye lies right next to the bow in this square right here. If you want to double check that, you can count 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down here, and in the picture here it's 1, 2, 3, 4 over, 1, 2, 3, 4 over. So now I know for a fact I'm in the right square. And as you can see, this part of the eye right here, it doesn't quite fall halfway. It's a little shy of halfway, a little bit past a quarter of the way. So I would say that falls about right here. That little mark is right about right here. And then an angle comes up towards that bow, a slight angle this way, creating that top of that eye. And then as you can see, there's a small space in between the bow and her forehead here. So I'm just going to kind of follow that line of the bow, because her forehead and the bow are pretty parallel. And that comes right up here, like so. Alright, as I curve around by this hairline, I'm going to keep in mind where this hairline falls in between these two lines here. And because this is about halfway right here, it's about a quarter of the way down, it pretty much falls right above that quarter of the way down. So I'm about halfway, about a quarter, so the hairline will fall about right here. And then I'm just using a line that kind of connects the dots coming over here, comes over at a slight angle, and then turns down and meets up here with the forehead, just like that. Alright, so if I'm going to continue with this hairline, I know I'm going to have another angular line coming down this way, and now I'm taking a look at the fraction in between these two lines. Alright, this is about halfway, this is about a quarter of the way down. It comes down about halfway, but maybe a little bit above that. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to check, this is about halfway, and I said that line for the hair comes a little bit above it, so I'm going to bring that line to about here, and I know that it should be a slight angle down, so I'm in good shape lining that up like that. And as you can see here, I'm just going one square at a time, matching up where this hairline goes using these angles. So now I'm going to actually be going at a downward angle to get this part of the hair, and now I'm focusing between these two marks right here in the square. Alright, and where does this hairline fall? Right here. If this is about halfway, this is about a quarter of the way, it's a little bit left of the quarter of the way over. So halfway, about a quarter, should fall somewhere around here. So I'm just going to bring a light line down here. It crosses right there like that. Remember, you should always be using these very light lines, because it's very easy to make a mistake right here. I make mistakes all the time. If you use light lines and make a mistake, it's easy to erase them. They just disappear. No one ever knew you made the mistake. If you press down too hard and try to erase those, it's a lot more difficult to get those erase marks out of there. Alright, so now that I'm down about right here, I'm going to continue with this line coming down. And then here's my favorite time when I'm drawing using a grid, is when a line intersects with an exact cross of your grid, right in that intersection right there. So I know that hair comes in right towards that intersection right there. I know for a fact that's correct. I don't have to worry about measurements or fractions at that point in time. And I just come in here and try to imitate the shape. I know it kind of comes to a point, and then back down towards that corner. Alright, then my ear is also going to be in this square right here. And as you can see, it's about halfway in the square. It's about a quarter of the way, so the neck is going to start about a quarter of the way over, maybe a little bit shy of that. So I have this neck coming up at a slight angle. The jawline starts here as well and has a slight curve coming in, as you can see this right here. And the earlobe starts about halfway down, about halfway between these two marks. So about halfway down, that is where I want to start my earlobe, and it comes down slightly and then over, and then a shadow takes over that ear. Just like this. Now I'm drawing the earlobe like that. And then I'm going to draw the rest of the line for the rest of the neck coming down here. So this neck line will actually fit about halfway there. So it comes about halfway down here, make a light line there. This one kind of curves over and then goes halfway in between this line. So halfway in between this line right here has a slight curve. I fit the neck in like that. And then I'm actually going to hop over to this other side of the neck. So I'm going to skip one whole square. There's this part of the square, another whole square, and then the front of her neck actually fits in this square right here. As you can see, there's a little triangle made by her arm, and then the neckline starts to come up. As you can see right here, her chin is there. Luckily, the chin goes from this cross to that cross, so that makes life a little bit easier. I'm going to draw her chin in here slightly, like so. And then I can fraction out my neck line. So it's about halfway, it's about a quarter, so it's kind of in between a half and a quarter. Somewhere around here, like that. And then I'm going to continue up at the face. This cheek line comes up. The cheek right here crosses pretty much exactly halfway through. So I'm just going to draw that line lightly. I might have to alter this a little bit. Now I have her cheekbone right here. Her cheekbone comes really close to this part of the bow, and I already have where it starts and finishes. So I'm just going to draw that in there like this, and now I have the shape of her face ready to roll here.